In this video, we're going to go through and I'm going to show you one of my first ever Realty income dividends that I received around 5 years ago. Then we're going to compare that to the amount of dividend income that Realty income pays me on a monthly basis as of today, around 5 years later. I'm also going to show you exactly how I built out my Realty income position so quickly over the past several years and why I personally think Realty income is a great cash flow generating asset for investors looking for that sort of thing. Now, if you're currently a dividend investor building out a Realty income position, I promise you are going to want to stick around, so drop a like down below and let's get right into it. So first off, before anything, I did promise I was going to show you guys some of my earliest Realty income dividends, which is pretty fun to look back on. And this right here is on the Robinhood platform, one of the brokerages I opened up in the early days of my investing career. Now, if we go all the way back to 2019, you can see that right here, I received a $1.14 dividend that was received on November 15th of 2019. And this was from owning 5 shares of Realty income, which back in the day, Realty income was paying 0.227 cents per share. Now, since then, over the years, I've been purchasing shares of Realty income along with other dividend paying stocks and ETFs across my various brokerages to the point that now I earn several thousands of dollars per month in dividend income across everything. But with Realty income specifically, my strategy has always more or less been the same, and that's really across the board with my entire investing strategy. Buying a few shares here and there on a daily basis of whatever high quality stock or ETF that I think not only has the potential to move up in price over time, but also is for sure going to pay me dividends on a monthly or quarterly basis. Now, it's not like I was buying hundreds of shares of Realty income to build out my position. As you can see back in the day in 2020, I was buying 4 shares on a day, 3 shares on a day, 2 shares on a day, sometimes even just 1 share on a given day. And of course, when I did have more cash balance available, there were certain days that I would purchase 6 shares, 5 shares, and maybe even a little bit more depending on what the cash balance was looking like at that given time. But there really isn't any secret or any shortcut to build out a long-term position that's going to pay you a significant amount of dividend income other than consistently buying shares, dollar cost averaging over time, until that $1.14 dividend turns into something like $59.91, which is how much Realty income was paying me around 6 months after I bought my first few shares. Now, fast forward even further from then, you can see that I kept on buying Realty income shares over and over and over again. All the way to the point that by 2021, early 2021, I was at this point earning around $80 per month in dividends, which was substantially higher and a far cry from the $1.14 dividend I got paid early on. Now fast forward even further all the way until current day, and I'm currently holding around 2,865 shares of ticker symbol O, which is one of my largest single stock positions across all my portfolios combined, which is currently valued at around $150,000 in market value. Now my average cost per share across all my brokerages is probably somewhere around $53, $54 per share, so although I'm not necessarily up on the share price of where Realty income is trading as of this moment, I have sold tons of covered calls over the years, and with all those dividends received, I've definitely made it out on top on this investment, in case you're wondering. But I wanted to make this video specifically and just go back in time a little bit just to remember how long it truly does take and how much commitment and dedication it does take to build out a long-term portfolio with different stocks and ETFs with thousands of shares per position at some points. Now, I know my portfolio is by no means the largest portfolio across YouTube or across the world, obviously, but for me personally, a normal person that doesn't have all that much cash balance to work with compared to some bigger investors, I'm very proud of my positions that I've been able to build out, especially this Realty income position, which is closing in on 3,000 shares, which I will definitely hit by the end of this year. Now, another thing you might be wondering is how much in dividend income does Realty income pay me at this point, owning 2,865 shares across my various portfolios, because Realty income just as of recently did raise their dividend to 26.25 cents per share per month, which was a decent increase, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second here. But because that's the most recent Realty income dividend payout amount per share, and because I own somewhere around 2,865 shares across my portfolios, that means that every single month as of right now, Realty income, that position that used to pay me $1.14, at least as of my first dividend ever, around 5 or 6 years ago, now pays me $752 on a monthly basis, which, side note, is only going to go up if Realty income keeps raising their dividends like they have historically. So now that I shared with you what my first ever Realty income dividend payment was, the $1.14 of course, and comparing that to the now Realty income dividend payment of around $750 that I'm receiving on a monthly basis, I think it's important lastly to explain exactly why I invested so heavily in ticker symbol O and why I'm such a big fan of this stock in the first place, in case you're wondering. Now, real estate has always been an interest of mine. I do personally own physical real estate, along with I do have exposure to REITs like Realty income and others. And real estate has always drawn me in because although I am an investor personally that favors investments that have the potential to go up over time, I'm also an investor that takes cash flow very seriously, and I'm an investor that wants to live off of cash flow and dividends sometime in the future. Now, because that's basically what I'm solving for as an investor, I think real estate exposure is a great option because real estate, especially high quality real estate like Realty income that utilizes triple net leases, generates a ton of cash flow that's really only went up over time, and on top of that has the potential to move up in price along with it. Now with that, Realty income is giving you exposure to some of the highest quality commercial real estate across the entire world, in my opinion. Real estate that I personally would never be able to have exposure to unless I was invested into a REIT like this. I mean, after all, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford to buy a Home Depot, a Starbucks, etc., because I just do not have the capital to do so. But along with that, I think it's also important to note, and we really saw this with the math that we did earlier on in the video, that a high quality real estate investment trust like Realty income has had a long history of raising their dividends over time. And again, if you have 1 share, 3 shares, or 5 shares like I had back in 2019, it's not really going to make all that much of a difference if Realty income pays you 20 cents per share per month or 21 cents per share per month. But I promise you, as you start stacking more and more shares across your portfolios, and you get to a point to where you might have 25 shares, 50 shares, 100 shares, or to a point like me as of right now that has 2,800 plus shares, if Realty income, ticker symbol below, even raises their dividend by a penny per share per month, that's going to be a significant dividend increase across my portfolios and is going to allow me to generate not only more cash flow, but have more dividend income, at least as of right now, for my strategy to reinvest into more shares of Realty income or whatever the case might be across the market. So by buying into a REIT like Realty income that not only has a starting yield of around 5% or so, which that's my yield on cost, something around there, but on top of that, a dividend that historically has gotten larger and larger year after year, basically every single year since inception. Along with the fact that, like I mentioned, you have exposure to some of the highest quality tenants in the entire world, Realty income, in my opinion, is a no-brainer, and that's why I personally have invested so heavily into Realty income over the years. Now, this video is by no means an advertisement for Realty income. Realty income might be the right investment for you, or might be the absolute worst investment for you. That's going to depend on what you're looking for, what you're solving for in your investment journey. But for me personally, Realty income has not only allowed me to have exposure to over 15,450 properties as of right now at least, but also Realty income has paid me every single month since I've owned the first few shares of Realty income. And on top of that, pay me more and more. And for those reasons, I'm going to continue to build up my Realty income position as the years go on. I think we're going to look back on Realty income's price, trading in the mid-50s, somewhere around that range, and look at it as a massive buying opportunity for long-term investors that want to hold this stock for a while. Now, like I said, across my portfolios, my current average cost for Realty income is somewhere around $53, $54 per share, so I'm more or less broken even on the actual cost basis of Realty income as of right now. But not to mention every single month since I first bought my shares of Realty income, at least some shares years ago, I've been getting paid dividends month after month after month, not to mention the dividends have also gotten larger over time. But as far as the price potential for Realty income in the next 12 months, next 24 months, I think that once interest rates get cut, I think that REITs across the entire market are going to rally like none other. But now lastly, maybe most importantly of all, I want to hear from you guys down below. I want to know if you're personally holding onto any shares of ticker symbol below Realty income, and if so, how many shares do you have across your portfolios as of right now? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.